Welcome to another Sports Extra feature, and today we've got professional golfer Ryan Cairns, and he's been doing something quite amazing right here at the Queen of Hearts. He's actually got the Queen of Clubs and the deck. It's a lovely bar and also virtual golf. But before we get into all of that, and you're going to see further within the video, Ryan, great to have you on board, and always a pleasure to be following all of the exploits that you're doing, especially in terms of golf.
Thank you, Ravinder. Yeah, it's great to have you guys here. Thanks for linking up and coming to showcase what we're doing at Queen of Hearts. Very exciting, and it's been great to get such positive feedback from everybody over the last couple of months.
All right, so maybe let's start off from the very foundations before we even talk about how a virtual golf space comes through. Where did the passion for golf start? Generally, anybody who's got a passion for hand-eye coordination has got the option of playing cricket, hockey, baseball, any one of those, but you chose golf. Where did that actually start?
Yeah, I mean, my dad was the head professional at Royal Harare, so I grew up around golf. My uncle was also a club professional and moved to Australia and played on the tour there. My mum was the lady captain of Royal Harare, so I don't think I had much choice. I think golf was just a natural kind of thing that I slipped into, and I loved it from an early age. And yeah, that's been the story ever since.
So how maybe intense was the journey, especially to then get on tour and be playing some of the top tournaments that you've actually been involved in? How did that come about? Did it come at an early age of being within your teens, or did that maybe come a little bit later when you had matured in the sport?
Yeah, I took a bit of an unorthodox route, like I was highly ranked as a junior golfer. I think I was in the top 10 in American junior golf rankings, and it's nearly 20 years ago now. So yeah, it was a high to a low, and then back. So yeah, after that we moved to Australia. My family moved there, and I had a few scholarship offers to American universities. It fell through at the very last moment, and that's kind of my only living regret in my life, is not pursuing it, because I could have still gone, but there was a bump in the road, and I chose, no, I'm good enough at golf, I just want to turn pro, and that's it. And in hindsight, I should have gone to college in the States, but I am where I am. I've had 15, 16 years now on the circuits, and I don't have any regrets from where my life is right now. I'm very blessed and grateful for what's happening.
All right, so let's talk about your first win on tour. How much of a milestone was that for you, getting that win, and how did it then propel you for some of the other tournaments that you won after?
Yeah, it was, my first professional win was actually in Zimbabwe, and it was part of the Zim PGA. That's why it's always been close to my heart. Even when I was living in Cape Town or Johannesburg, I would come back and play in the Zim in the local tournaments, and it kind of gave me the confidence to be able to win. And when I went back down to South Africa and having held a trophy, and it's a different level of competition down there. But I found that the winner on the Sunshine Tour, it was coming, but I didn't have the self-belief to win. And then after winning in Zimbabwe, I kind of had that self-belief and went down, and when I was in contention, I actually knew what to do and got over the line up there. So yeah, it's always nice to look back on that win on the Sunshine Tour down at Samoa. And since then, I've loved playing in South Africa. I've been on tour full time now, I think, for 15 seasons, and managed to stay inside the top 100. But it's brutal. I mean, the nature of the beast is that if I lost my card and had to go back to qualifying school, you're playing against 600 young guns who they don't care. They don't care if you've won a tournament. They don't care anything. They're there to beat you. So 600 players for 30 spots on the tour these days is pretty hectic. So yeah, that's where I am at the moment. So touch wood, I don't have to go back to qualifying school.
Well, that's so important. And I mean, just touching base on a more recent tournament that you were in, you were playing the NAC Pro-Am, National AIDS Council Pro-Am Golf Tournament, and that was also quite intense, especially in the way that it finished. How much confidence has that given you in the way that golf has now been progressing in terms of the number of professional golfers and the number of golfers that are playing at a very decent level.
Yeah, I mean, and you can see it. It's, I think 5 years ago, the professional golf standard in Zimbabwe was certainly a lot lower than it is now. There's a lot of really good players. I mean, one guy straight off the top of my head, obviously Robson Chinoy, how he's kind of progressed as a player and grown and he's doing some great things over in Kenya and even played well on the Challenge Tour. So I mean, the standard is very, very good. You can't afford to kind of drop a couple of shots in the final round and still keep your position, because the guys will be making birdies and overtaking.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And I mean, if we were to just ask of the number of golf courses that are here in Zimbabwe, I mean, if we were to go to Vic Falls, there's the Elephant Hills Resort. If you are to go to Nyanga, you've got, or rather in Vumba, you've got Leopard Rock. You come into Harare, you've got quite a number. You've got Country Club, you've got Royal Harare, you've got Falcon Golf Club out there in Hatfield. Which one would you say has been the one that you feel at home on?
Most at home, obviously Royal Harare. When I grew up there, that's I just love that golf course and the way that it's maintained. It's just absolutely stunning. I mean, it wasn't ever in as good a condition as it was during the week of NAC. I mean, it was absolutely flawless. The greens, you could walk in a putt from 30 feet if it was on line.
Yeah.
But the golf courses, I think that there's a wave coming in Zimbabwe golf. I think that people also have the appetite to improve on current infrastructure. And there's some other appetites out there to create new infrastructure. So I think it's very exciting. I think Zimbabwe as a whole is poised for growth and a huge boost over the next decade or so. I think we've been through the worst of everything, and now you can almost feel like the country's like vibrating. Everybody's positive and kind of talking to one another about opportunities and investments, and I'm exposed to quite a lot of that in the golfing world, in my work with Peter Makovich, obviously with the golf course architecture side of things, and Peter himself always says, when he comes to Zim, he just feels this warmth and positivity. When he's in South Africa, he doesn't feel it as much. So I think that there's some exciting things coming.
All right, so let's maybe roll back the years slightly there. Of course, you spoke about how your parents and your uncle as well were very key to getting you to play golf. How significant do you think the role was that the likes of the Mark McNultys, the Nick Prices, the Nodika Nyangaras of golf also helped you to develop the game to get to where you're supposed to?
Yeah, I mean, I was exposed to a lot of the local professionals when I was younger. Like my dad was playing a bit on the Zim local scene, and there was a lot of influences in my life, to be honest, like growing up. Obviously, the standout being Nick Price. I mean, he was the world number one, and I actually remember when I was playing on the Canadian Tour in 2008, I shot 39 on the front nine and then 29 on the back nine in the tournament, and I was leading. And that evening, the phone rang, and I was staying in this really dingy little motel room, and my roommate answered the phone. He was like, "Ryan, it's Nick Price." So, and then Nick had seen the leaderboard and phoned the room, and so we chatted for like 40 minutes, and he was always so giving with his time for any up and coming player. I think when you track back to one of the all-time great potentials of Zimbabwe being Lewis Chitengo, I mean, Nick was unbelievable with this, and I've got one of Lewis's like a limited edition copy of his book after he sadly passed away. And it's Tiger Woods even wrote in the forward, if there was one player I feared playing, it was Lewis Chitengo, which is amazing. So I think golf has got such a rich history in this country. Everybody seems to gather around and want the best for the game, and I think there's definitely a shift in direction with people doing it for the best intentions as well.
And whilst talking about that, and I feel as we're going to be rounding up this one, let's just look at the development of golf. We already spoke about the infrastructure side of things, but golf is definitely not a cheap sport. Especially when you talk about the kinds of clubs that you need to be using, and you spoke about, the maintenance of golf courses to really get optimal performance out of golfers. How do you feel that maybe this can be, the gap may just be shortened rather than widening it?
I think that there's a lot of misinformation out there. I agree with you that it's not the cheapest sport to start, but it's by no stretch of the imagination the most expensive, and it's not nearly as expensive as it was 10 years ago. I think more companies are making beginner starter sets. There's more golf courses having options for membership which are kind of lower down, and more golf courses are looking at development and grassroots and things like that. Ourselves, we are front and center at Royal Road. We've got junior golf clinics on Saturday mornings. We're building the Ledbetter Golf Academy, which is going to be the first and most exclusive golf academy on the continent. Only 24 kids come in there. And it doesn't matter about your background or where you're from. If you are good enough to get into that academy, then we'll make sure that you're in the academy. And the sole purpose of that golf academy is to get kids to college in the States on full scholarship. So we're very excited to be opening that in January. As well as that, we've got a development side to the Ledbetter Golf Academy. David Ledbetter he actually did his apprenticeship with Royal Rory, and he's the #1 golf instructor basically in history, the most famous golf coach ever. Coached 7 players to world #1, Nick Price, one of them. And he's extremely excited and passionate about what he's going to be doing in Zimbabwe with us. So I think we are bridging that gap. I think we're creating more accessibility. We're standing in something that is very accessible for people to come in and learn the game. We've got clubs down here. It's a highly engaging and captivating environment to hit a ball into a screen. And I think by doing that, you kind of get the appetite to then say, okay, what's next? Where do I go from here? So yeah, we hope that the things that we're putting in place, the last of which is the Links Part 3 at Royal Rory, and I can tell you that has worked unbelievably well in getting young people, young families there on the weekends. A demographic that we've not really seen too much of at Royal Rory in the last, I don't know how long. Because it's all short little holes, par 3s, pitch and putt. We've got floodlights. We've got a new deck up there, so you can sit and have a gin and tonic and watch the kids while they play. And the kids have a great time out there. So yeah, I think that as far as access points, we're definitely trying to kind of lower that so that more people come into the game and see where we can get over the next 10 to 15 years.
All right, so before we actually go for the tour of the virtual golf space, what brought about that idea? You've spoken about all of these wonderful things that will be happening at Royal Harare, but what then brought this? Okay, we're going to take it away from an 18-hole golf course, and we're going to put a screen in front of you to learn golf.
Yeah, I think during lockdown, it's been a passion of mine since I moved back to Zimbabwe to actually get younger people playing. That's been like my huge driving force. And virtual golf, I'm not reinventing the wheel. It exists all over the world, from Dubai to New York and Melbourne and everywhere. So, to have it in Zimbabwe, it was just a natural step for me to take. And friends of mine own Peanut Hearts. I live just down the road. And I came here one day and I said, hey, I've got this idea. I don't know if you guys would be interested. And I can say they've been unbelievably supportive of it. And we're getting people coming down and playing golf who have never, ever played golf before. We're getting young families coming where the mum she starts sitting on the couch and the kids are playing with the dad, and next thing the mum's got her shoes off and she's playing. So I think it's awesome. Whoever came up with it all those years ago, it's a fantastic initiative. We've obviously plugged it in for Zimbabweans to have access to, and I always describe it as it's like the bowling alley of golf. You don't have to be a professional bowler to go bowling. You don't have to be a golfer to come to Peanut Clubs. You can just come here, grab a couple of the clubs. The whole team are all golfers. They can coach you as you go, how to grip it, the terminology, so that you feel more comfortable. If and when you choose to go to a golf course, you think, hey, I know the terms, I know which hand to put my glove on, I know all these little things. So I think that's a big part of what we do is to make people feel comfortable in the game, and then they can choose where to go from there.
All right, so that's Ryan Cairns and giving us his idea of the virtual golf space. We're actually going to be taking a tour of that. But Ryan, thank you so much for letting us through your life history and, of course, the passion of golf as you continue to carry it through. We'll be obviously looking towards that academy that you're ready to set up and looking for more professionals that will be coming up to fly the flag of Zimbabwe high, just as you have done.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, so stay locked on to Sports Extra. We're now going for the virtual golf tour, and maybe, just maybe, I might get a putt or two in.
Okay, there it goes. Straight into the palm tree.
Oh wow.
No good.
No good. Is it? Yeah, there's a commentator.
This is the danger zone.
No wow. Okay, so I have to hit it this way.
Yeah. So the key is to not try and hit it too hard. Have a practice swing first. Swing at a speed that you can control. Keep your feet on the ground. Yeah. Feet on the ground. Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to use the ground.
No.
The ground is there to help you. So most people try and lift the ball off the ground.
Yeah.
You actually want to feel like the club's going to be sweeping its way into the ground. Yeah.
Let's see how this one goes.
Alright. This is it. Moment of truth. There we go. Oh yes.
Much better.
Straight down the fairway.
Back in the saddle here. Saddle being fairway. Nice
And
stuff.
the commentator.
Okay, looks like about
Gives you a little
235 yards.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay, so guys, as you're watching, that's the reason why I'm not a professional golfer and why Ryan has put this together, so that maybe one day I can also be on the same golf course with him at a pro-am.
Yeah, so hands a little bit more together, and then put your thumb, your left thumb, just put it on the grip. And have a practice swing first. Yeah, just feel like you're sweeping down through. Yeah, don't be afraid of the ground. Yeah, nice.
Alright. Alright, here we go.
Okay,
Let's see how it all goes.
okay, there it goes. Nice. You're not really down. Woo!
Okay.
You're the man, remember?
Alright.
That's unfortunate.
Check, he's even dressed like Tiger in the picture. Look at
Let's
that.
see, Mark. We're LP stuff.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty then, so this is the final one, hoping to go for the green.
Yeah,
Okay,
this is it.
this is the one.
You can play as a team, so if you don't hit the green, I'll hit the next one.
Alright.
Okay.
Alright, so. Okay.
Yeah, good. Yeah, beautiful. It's getting better already.
Alright, so we're going for the green.
Oh yes. Come on. Get up, ball.
Alright, so guys,
Okay, you might want to hit a little more right than you normally would. Get the ball sitting above your feet on this one. Just letting you know.
so that's the commentator telling me, I may just want to adjust a couple of settings. But this is the virtual golf space. It is called the Queen of Clubs, the deck. You can come here to Queen of Hearts, number 1 Herworth Road. That is in Highlands, and you can enjoy yourself some golf. Ryan, once again, thank you so much for allowing us to be in this space.
What
and
a
of
pleasure,
course,
yeah.
it has been an absolute ball. So make sure you stay locked on to Sports Extra, and this will be featuring on our YouTube channel. You can also go onto our Facebook and Instagram handle, and you'll catch all of this action as we bring it. But up until next time, cheerio.